Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Before the Green. Obviously, we have missed a week, so I do apologize for that. Somehow I managed to find the same technological glitch that we had a couple weeks back, and so we have changed some things. We don't think that's going to be an issue again. Happy to be back, and hopefully it was worth the wait for the extra episode. Oh, we're also down a guy. That's not the technological glitch. I should clarify. Corey will be back.
That's just, working on some contract issues, wanting more pay, but we're wanting more performance. So,
I mean, to be fair, you want to jump right into the racing, Donnie?
yeah, might as well.
All
right. So, I mean, this is kind of old news now, but Denny Hamlin got hit with some penalties there for some engine rebuilds that happened after Bristol before NASCAR had a chance to look into that engine. I mean, NASCAR rules and stuff, but it sounds like it was a TRD issue and not so much Joe Gibbs or Denny Hamlin. So Toyota's offered up their apologies, and unfortunately NASCAR's hands were tied on it, but I mean, that's kind of rough, you know what I mean? Takes Denny right out of the run into the regular season championship. That's 15 points going forward, plus he got fined, what was it, 10 regular season or 10 playoff? And
10 playoff and
20,
75 regular season.
Yeah, so I mean, like those 10 points hurt. The fact that you went from possibly, that's 35 points if you won the regular season championship.
Right.
Like the 15 and the 10 or 25. My
I'm
son's
glad you corrected it.
I haven't slept in 3 days, so don't look to me for math advice this week, folks.
The other thing is, too, though, like, it's a good thing they came forward now instead of waiting till the playoffs when there is no regular season points that matter anymore. You know what I mean? Like, wait until the playoffs and this gets discovered or something like that, and all of a sudden now you're in a way worse situation, right? So good on TRD for coming forward and admitting it. It sucks, though.
For sure.
It
does. But you're right. Like, if this came out in the playoffs and then NASCAR's like, all right, we're taking points, and that's what keeps Denny out of the shit, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. As a non-Denny fan, I'm fine with this. And as a non-TRD fan, I'm also fine with this.
I think Denny's probably a non-TRD fan right now.
Well, yeah. I think Denny's probably not a fan of quite a few things at the moment, really, with the way the week went. But
so do you think this is going to affect his playoffs?
Oh, it definitely affects it. I think it takes him from, a way more comfortable round of 12 and round of 8 potentially to where all of a sudden now, you don't have that buffer that you had. It's a huge hit. That's half a race worth of points for playoff points alone that are gone. Maybe even more than that, right? Depending on how it works out. So, yeah, I would say it's a hit for sure. He's going to feel it,
100%.
Over something, I think the part that sucks the most is it's not their fault, right?
Yeah, that's it. Like, if you're the one doing it, like, hey, you got caught, but...
And I mean, someone definitely messed up at Gibbs that sent the engine back to TRD, but, it's never supposed to get to TRD with, from what I understand, it's never supposed to get to TRD with the red seals on it. They're supposed to be blue, I think, and it did, so that's on them.
Yeah. I mean, it was my first day, too, so you got to cut me a little slack. My first and last day working at Toyota.
Yeah. Glad to see Legacy picked you up, though.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So Saturday, we had an announcement from Trackhouse that Zane Smith would no longer be the driver for the team next year, as SVG would be moving to Cup full-time in 2025. Now, of course, Zane Smith actually drove for Spire this year, but it was in kind of a loaning agreement with Trackhouse and whatnot. I will say this about Trackhouse: they have made that situation much more confusing over the past couple of years because they're buying them but loaning them anyway. But nonetheless, SVG moves to Cup full time in 2025. Obviously, Zane has had his struggles this year, but do you believe this is the right move for the organization? And what do you see next for Zane Smith?
Yeah, 100% is the right move. Like, if you have a chance for a guy like SVG, I mean, just the marketing alone, the eyes that he brings in, like, there's really, like, there's a lot of promising young talent that I still take SVG over. And do I think SVG is ever going to be a Cup Series champ? Like, no. But, I mean, he's got a great shot at being a playoff driver every season he's there with the road heavy schedule. I mean, so you have to jump at an opportunity like that. I do feel bad for Zane Smith because he kind of burned a bridge last year jumping ship from front row and Ford. And I don't think really Ford has a high value on him right now. There's talks that I've heard that Ford doesn't want any Ford teams picking him up. So I'm not really too sure like how solid that is, but that's what the Reddits are saying anyways.
Wow.
And so, yeah, he burned some bridges, I guess, the way he left there. And so Ford's not too high on the kid. But honestly, as far as, like, I know he's had his ups and downs. I think he's, like 33rd place or something. But, like, he's had some surprising showings. Like, there's times where I'm like, oh, wow, that's 71's in the top 10 again.
Yep.
And so, like, I think there's potential there, but...
And they've been more recent than early in the year, right? Like,
yeah,
we didn't see that early in the season, but now we do a little bit, seeing them. I think, part of that is going back to the same tracks for the second time, right? At some of these locations. Yeah. So that would help, because I think Richmond was one of the ones he finished pretty decent at, if I'm not wrong. I might be wrong, but I think I'm right. But
I'm not fact checking you tonight.
Just not feeling it, eh?
Yeah.
I will say, I think SVG is definitely a right call, but I think if I'm Trackhouse, I really wish the playoff schedule stayed closer to 2024 than it did, because this year we've got, I believe we have Watkins Glen in the first round, right? So that in and of itself means he's got a very good chance of advancing to the round of 12, right? Second round. Whereas next year we don't have that. We don't have a road course race until the third round, I believe. I'd have to double check the schedule, but I believe that's what it said. The Roval was the only road course type track in the playoffs. So, unless there's some substantial development there in the same time frame, I don't see that he's that dominant on ovals yet or anything of that nature. So unless there's some advancement, it's a very real possibility that it'll be get into the playoffs, and that'll be as far as he goes. But the Wood brothers are happy to have that situation. So I mean, maybe it's
that's it.
Maybe that's what they want,
right? For all weeks to be laid on, like this is the one.
Well, things happen, man.
Yeah. So I guess speaking of changes, we had Rick Allen out of the booth, and is it Lee Diffie?
Lee Diffie, yeah. Joe Diffie's not a related person.
Yeah. So we had him in the booth. What were your thoughts on hearing a new voice?
Actually, I liked it.
Yep.
I sometimes it's hard to separate one voice from the broadcast as a whole. And so maybe I'm just like, I really enjoyed the broadcast. We went to the whole, no full screen commercials during green flag runs and things like that. I think that was a good move. We saw that was really good. The race as a whole was really good. So, there's a chance that I just, kind of have these rose-colored glasses about Lee Diffie, but for the most part, it seems like everyone in and around NASCAR kind of did. I mean, I saw the usual stuff on Twitter that you see about, who's this British guy, which is, whatever. People are people, but yeah, I thought he did great.
I mean, if I'm being honest, like, I hate to be that guy, but I was just like, man, this voice just isn't fitting to my sport. Like, it felt weird. Like, it wasn't hitting with me, but I mean, I'm in the small minority on that from what I've seen online.
Yeah, it seems like everyone else was.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that once I get, hear him call a couple races and stuff, it's just, I had no idea he was coming, so I was just like, what is going on here? Like,
yeah, it hit me as a surprise. I don't feel like I was made aware of it very clearly.
But yeah, like you said, the race was awesome. I mean, as far as the super speedway, like, they were going for it right from the start. So
yeah, which we don't see. on super speedways
No.
lately.
It's been a parade until stage 3, so I mean, that was awesome.
Right. Let's talk about this one. Harrison Burton pulls off the victory. Obviously, that's old news now, but after taking the final restart from the outside front row, it was a victory for the underdogs as he and Parker Retzlaff, who was only in his second start, were able to work together to defeat the winningest active driver and one of the sport's brightest young stars in Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell. With Burton having lost his ride for 2025, how do you think that changes the outlook for his career?
I mean, too little, too late, maybe right now. Like, I'll be surprised if he's in Cup. Like, I don't think it was enough to earn him a ride back into the series. But I think he's going to find a good Xfinity ride. I don't think he'll have to dip down into trucks, you know what I mean, and work his way all the way back, kind of like John Hunter. But Gibbs has some open seats coming up. He was a Gibbs driver there for a while. Maybe he hits back there. But I can see him working up in, like, I don't even know if you can say better equipment. I mean, Wood Brothers is Penske, but like that's what's tough is how good is Penske equipment, because we know they got great drivers. So, you know, Joey and Blaney are both getting more out of that. I mean, Austin Cindric's won again, and he's been competitive at different spots too. So, like, it wasn't a super speedway win, but he almost won Atlanta even.
Right.
Like, so maybe their program's finding what works again, but I don't know. I know, like, I was shocked to see how high Dale Jr. is on the kid. Like, thinking, and I'm just like, I don't see that. Like, it's one super speedway race. The kid's in 34th. Like, he hasn't done anything up until this point. I don't think this one race wipes the slate clean.
Yeah, it probably doesn't, but at the same point, so, like, if you're looking, let's say you're somebody like Rick Ware Racing, okay? And Justin Haley's rumored to be leaving to go to Spire potentially, right? So why don't you pick up a guy who has proven he can pull off a win at a super speedway, which, as we've said on here before, there is luck involved in surviving to the end, but there's no luck in winning, right?
And I got to give it to Harrison on that, because, I mean, I've been his biggest, this kid needs to get out of the series. Like, that wasn't a fluke. That was, like, you straight up raced Kyle Busch to win at Daytona. Right. Like, that's huge. Like, and so props to the guy. Like,
right. So if you're Rick Ware Racing, would you not go, okay, we're losing Justin Haley. Maybe we should pick up a guy who brings some money too, by the way. Dex Imaging is his sponsor.
Yeah.
So, maybe you do pick him up. Maybe that's how Rick Ware Racing gets his 16th spot in the standings, right?
If I'm being honest, I like that move more than I'd like Corey LaJoie going there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we have, like, that's kind of been, what we've been hearing, like LaJoie there, but it hasn't been announced. So, right. I mean, if that's not a done deal and I'm Rick Ware, then yeah, I'll throw it, the money Harrison's way and say, hey, come over here. Like,
because I don't think, I forget who LaJoie has for sponsors other than Schluter Systems, I think is his. I don't know if he has another one. I bet you the Dex Imaging money is just as good, if not better.
Yep.
Right. And that program has taken steps and whatnot forward. And if you look at trajectories, I would say that Harrison Burton's career is taking a much better trajectory right now than the guy who had no DNFs last year but can't seem to finish a race this year, right? In the same equipment, same team, everything like that. I think, to me, that says, hey, maybe we should take at least a second look at this guy.
I think somebody that's in for a rough little stretch, though, is Parker Retzlaff. Like, Chevy's pretty disappointed in him right now.
Sure, but I mean, what do you do different?
See, that's what I 100% agree with you on that. And I'm like, this is my gripe with Chevy is, since the secret Corvette meetings at Talladega, like, this is NASCAR. You show up every week to win the race. Like, Parker wasn't even invited. Like, the 62 or whatever wasn't even invited to, like, the Chevy meetings at the first of the season.
Oh, really?
But all of a sudden, they're supposed to work for Kyle Busch because, like, Parker had just as good a chance to, you know what I mean, push Harrison and get around him and get the win. Like, think what that would do for that team.
Right.
And for, like, Chevy to be like, no, your career is pretty much done, or the whole manufacturer be mad at you. Like, That's garbage.
And I mean, like, from Kyle Busch's perspective, who in the world are you going to try to line up in front of? Christopher Bell or Parker Retzlaff? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
anyone's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to take Christopher Bell, right?
Yeah.
So, like, in my opinion, Kyle kind of left him out to dry. Had the chance to take the high line if he really wanted to, because Christopher Bell's not going to jump to the high side behind him if he can. Well, maybe, I guess, if Harrison's low side, but I mean,
yeah, I don't know though. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like, but you know, Kyle made his choice. What's Parker going to do? Take the fifth car position?
Yeah.
You know, like it.
Like, that's it. Like, you didn't take the Chevy with it. You took your old Toyota teammate, and it didn't work out.
In my opinion,
I haven't heard Kyle Busch complaining about it. Like, it's racing. Like, this has nothing to do with Kyle.
Right.
I just think this is Chevy as a whole just being garbage again for the sport.
And I mean, let's be honest. If Kyle Busch, like, Harrison Burton didn't have any help in the end, right? After he got by on the backstretch, he was all by himself, and he held off Kyle Busch. So if Kyle Busch can't get it done, who still had help, I will add, then let it be. It is what it is. Yeah. I do feel bad for Parker Retzlaff. I actually kind of like the kid, and I like the fact he went for the win. Screw the world, man. Go prove yourself. Yeah. Do it up.
I mean, if nothing else, he's got a career in a Ford, so.
Probably Ripper Racing.
Kid pushes like Keselowski, so I mean.
Yeah, it was a solid push.
Oh, it was, yeah.
And like the guys on BBC said, what happened? If you let out, then you just get wrecked anyway. So I mean, there's not really much option.
Yeah. And like, that's the last thing we want to see, too, is just a big wreck happen and then throw the flag and end it under caution. And that's what happened, in the winter race in February. And like, it's still a great race and stuff, but you want to see him come to the line exactly how we saw them come.
And not only that, the only thing I want to see less than that is a driver in fourth go, ooh, I can't pass the guy in first.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
no. Frig, he's got the wrong badge. I can't race.
Right. I have zero respect for that. So,
yeah.
Leave that stuff to Kyle Busch to figure out.
Yeah. I just don't know why he didn't try and wreck him.
Honestly, if it wasn't such drama with Austin Dillon right now, he probably would have. I don't care what you say.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, and again, with Harrison Burton winning, like, man, this flips the playoffs on its head.
100%.
So, like, you know what I mean? Like, you got guys like Bubba, Ross Chastain that are looking like they're not going to be in, who were looking like had a decent shot to get in before this. So, I guess, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the only guy who is even remotely safe is Martin Truex Jr. He has to finish like 3 positions from last, and everyone else would have to do very, very well in order for him to be eliminated, right? He's 58 to the good. He's got to earn 2 points, and he can't be beat. So I think he's probably okay. I think my concern here, like, if you look at how Chris Buescher ran here in the spring, I don't think he's the guy that's going to falter here. So Bubba's basically got to make up 40 points on Ty Gibbs. In my opinion, that's what he's got to do. Now, a positive for Bubba Wallace is the guy that Chris Buescher was trying to beat for that win in the spring was Bubba Wallace's teammate, Tyler Reddick. So it's not like you're going there blind. It's not like you're going there without, pretty good input on what your setup should be, how to run, things like that. I think it's setting Darlington up for one of the best races that we've had in a long, long time at the track, which is saying a lot because I think Darlington is a fantastic track every time we go there. But it's setting it up to be a lot of drama, a lot of heartbreak for somebody, and a lot of excitement for somebody else. And then let's not even consider the fact that, there is still Kyle Busch lurking. He can't get in on points, but, they've been showing speed the last few weeks. Granted, it's been a wide range of tracks, but, Austin was the fastest car hands down in Richmond. Busch finished fourth in Michigan, almost won in Darlington. So, it's kind of I think the only guy here who's probably not gonna make as much noise as he probably wants to is Ross Chastain. Not that he couldn't, just I don't see
just
it.
the way the season's looked this year for sure.
Yeah.
Like Bubba, the odds are stacked against him, but the kid also drives incredible when his back's against the wall. So I mean, I'm hoping that something happens.
Yeah.
I mean, but who knows? Like you said, it's going to be a good race, though. I'm excited for it.
And like Freddie Kraft said earlier this week, they've had such a way better season than last year. But here they are on the outside looking in this time. Like it's
right. I mean, like that's, another topic for another day on the podcast, but like the playoffs, it's just, man, the 34th place guys going into the playoffs. Like last place of full-time drivers. And that's what's possibly going to keep Chastain or Bubba out. And it leaves the question, do we want the top 16 cars or do we want the entertainment? That's what we're it's the hard balance right now.
That's where we're at, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And let's also face it this way, with 2 laps different 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was in Richmond, Austin Dillon's in. Right? We would have had the 32nd and 34th place cars in the playoffs with guys like Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, and Chris Beuscher all sitting there wondering how they're going to get Ty Gibbs out to make themselves in, right? Like,
I mean, at least Austin jumped up into the 20s when he won.
Yeah. Well, he did win. He just didn't earn the playoff
that's
berth.
true.
It's like he's a part-time driver. So, yeah, I mean...
Kyle Larson.
Yeah. Yeah. He actually ran one more race than Kyle Larson, though.
Yeah, that's right.
So, anything else you want to talk about from last week or the week before that we didn't?
Right, not that I can really think of. I mean, yeah. Harrison Burton winning at Daytona kind of left me speechless. So.
Yeah, I didn't plan that one, did we?
Nope.
See, this is what I get. I joked last week about how nobody had picked him yet this year.
Right? Like, if one of us did, yeah.
Wouldn't even be funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of picks, not going to do it before the caution break this week because we don't have Corey here to kind of do anything fun with. So, what I will mention is this week we are going to head to Speedway 660. We're going to try to go live and maybe share a couple things. I haven't been to the Speedway yet this year, so I'm not sure how great the cell service is. I think it should be fine, but we're going to try to maybe go live for a couple minutes here and there. So keep an eye out on our socials, and we'll be up there with some friends, hoping to be able to put together a couple minutes with Ben and Ben Rhodes and talk to him in person, maybe buy a diecast, get an autograph,
maybe
shake a hand. Sky's the limit.
Nice to meet you.
Share it on air.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what do you say we go into Before the Green and picks?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Yeah, we got 2 weeks to recap.
Right. Let me see. First week I lost dead last again. Is that I can't even remember? Let me check the notes here. All right. Last week's picks: Corey LaJoie, Carson. Nope, that's.
Yeah, it's a very nice paragraph.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. No, it's not on mine.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Corey earned the point in Michigan with Blaney. He finished 18th. He beat your pick of Gilliland in 36th and my pick of Briscoe, who finished 31st. One of our worst weeks for picks. So that put Corey in the lead with 11 points to my 10 and Donnie's 9.
Right. And that was my second week of picking losers back to back.
Dead last back to back. Yeah.
So this week, things went a little more normal. Corey picked Corey LaJoie, finished 34th. I picked John Hunter Nemechek, who was honestly battling for the win, and then just had the mindset, you know what probably work here is if I start my own lane and drops up and becomes an anchor and drops to 15th place from like third, allowing Carson Hocevar to sneak in at 11th place and get Evan the point.
Woo!
And yeah, tied with Corey right now, but obviously has the tiebreaker because you actually picked somebody who won this season, unlike Corey, who is always a bridesmaid, never a bride. But honestly, we still all have a chance of that regular season extra point at the end. Basically, if Corey picks the winner or just gets the point, he gets the point. All Evan has to do is pick a winner or choose the highest place finishing driver, and he gets the point. I'm a little more desperate. I need to somehow pick a winner from the people I got left.
I've seen your list. It's nobody.
Right? So, yeah, I basically need Harrison Burton to go back to back this week. Or if I somehow still manage to get my guy the highest standing, I'll get 1 point, but that will still give the extra point there on the season to Evan as a regular season champ. So, we all still have a shot at this. I am regretting mentioning this new extra point, though, as stuff goes on, but...
And I will say, actually, if you get the point, as long as you don't pick a winner, which, again, is definitely the better possibility, because I have the tiebreak, I still get the extra point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got the best
two
odds.
shots at this. Yeah.
I've got the best odds. And I've got a great driver option in my pocket.
Yeah.
I know I get to pick first, so you tell me when I can pick.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
Do you got Corey's pick?
I do have Corey's pick.
Oh, that's too bad. I was hoping he forgot.
Nope. I, however, am going to take Tyler Reddick.
All right.
Yeah. Now, I do
average
have
of 20th here.
I do have to find... Yeah, but pretty near one in the spring.
Yeah, I just sharing what the averages was.
Where did Corey send his pick? Oh, no. All right. I've got Corey's pick.
All right. Oh, yeah. So I guess he's dead last. All right. So you got Tyler Reddick. Okay. Yeah. All right. Tyler Reddick, 20th place average finish. I like it.
I mean, he ran here great in the spring, so.
You're not wrong. And he's a generational talent, so.
Yeah, the problem is there's no pressure on him this week, so I feel like I really got a shot at it.
All right. I mean, I'd love to see it because it's just going to lock up the regular season championship too. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I kind of already said this in the group chat, but like, the only thing worse than being last place is you being first. So I was just like, do I just pick Harrison Burton so I don't give you a chance at all? But it's not in me to lay back. So I'm going to throw a Hail Mary. He's had all right runs here.
Going for the Parker Red Slap. That's what this is. I'm not laying back. I'm going for it.
I'm going Ryan Preece.
Oh, that is one I did not see coming.
Right.
Okay. And I have Corey's pick. So Corey is taking a guy right on the bubble. So he will be teed up and ready to go. He's taking Ty Gibbs.
Oh, decent.
I feel like these are better picks than I would have anticipated at this point in the season.
Yeah.
Because next week...
for you guys, for sure.
Yeah, but next week the picks reset. And if you look at when you got your points, it was when you had all your drivers available. So I'm a little nervous about that. I really want, like, the best thing that could happen for me is for Tyler Reddick to win this race to get me 3 points. And that's what I want. That would give me a 5-point buffer on you, 3 points on Corey, and a reset drivers list. Be great.
Reset drivers list, so I'm probably looking at going 10-0. So
sure. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. That just means you're going to pick 6 TRD drivers again. So
you're not wrong.
So you've got at least 2.5 engine failures in there. You've got You've got an engine that was sealed and went back to TRD that got rebuilt, so that's a penalty.
Oh man, like Christopher Busch, I picked him. I think I finished 34th.
Who?
Truex, Christopher Bell. I probably
could have
said
swore
Busch.
you said Christopher Busch. Yeah, okay, you did.
Like
Okay.
I probably did, man. Like I said, 3 days no sleep. Yeah. Christopher Bell, who ran like Kyle Busch and finished 34th for me. Truex finished 37th for me. Like, You've
had some rough
guys
goes.
at horrible times. Yeah. But Denny
Well,
came through.
I will say, we've got a great week coming up for us. Obviously, we're a little late getting this out since we know the 2025 schedule and it released on Thursday. But we've got a great week coming up for us. We're going to meet up in Gary, watch the race. Really looking forward to seeing you for that.
Yep. It's going to be a good time. And basically, I just kind of been looking at the old schedule. That one that was leaked, is that basically the official?
Seems to be.
Yeah. I kind of thought so.
Yeah. We are going back to Rockingham next year, though. Not in Cup, but in Trucks and Xfinity. Excited about that. Ran Rockingham on iRacing there earlier this year. It was actually a fun track. Shaped a lot like a little bit bigger Michigan, but with more banking. Like a bigger Richmond, not a bigger Michigan. That's a 3-mile track. But with more banking, looks like it should be a multi-groove track. Could be a lot of fun.
Nice. And are we only one Richmond race now?
Yeah. Going to Mexico.
I'm wondering how that's going to work for Kyle Busch.
So he tweeted that he was excited to go race.
Oh,
so,
maybe
I
the
guess
government helped him out there.
Well, according to Ben Kennedy, they consider the situation resolved and it is done. So, I don't know. Maybe that was part of the negotiations to get the race down there. You never know. They were like, "Oh, you want us to come here?" Yes, I doubt it. Yeah. NASCAR's all about the money right now. So if the money was there, they wouldn't care if Kyle Busch was.
Right. I don't know if we're going to edit this all out, but one thing we never talked about or touched on was NASCAR had an ad out for 24/7 channel, looking for somebody to come on board. They never said anything more about it, but they did say that the ad is real.
Yeah.
So
when they say the FAST there, typically that's an acronym for the industry, and it means free ad supported. I forget what the T is. But basically it would be a free channel. You would have ads. It looks like it'd be NASCAR content, but probably not the races themselves, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it'd be great if you had like a pre-race show, trackside or whatever.
Yeah.
Or even classic
podcasts.
races. Yeah. I know a guy. Yeah, actually, I know 3 guys. I mean, they've had last year's champion on for the Truck Series, so I mean, how much more legitimate could they be?
Right.
Right?
We're not stacking pennies here. We're stacking loonies.
Well, I heard if you stack pennies, they sometimes fall over anyway.
Yeah.
Someone
tweeted much that we didn't touch on, like cars flipping over.
Oh yeah, but someone tweeted and said that he's going to be stacking burgers now, and I was like, "Aw."
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awful.
I feel he's probably made enough money to go get a good education so he doesn't have to stack burgers, though. So
right.
Yeah, it should be fine.
I mean, he's got fan support, so I assume he'll end up somewhere. I don't know where, but for some reason.
It'll be interesting to see that.
Yeah.
But like I say, in my books, I would take a Harrison Burton right now.
Yep.
At least he's on an upward trajectory. Might as well take a gamble on him. He's definitely wrecked fewer cars the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he's keeping his 4 tires down, so.
4 on the ground.
4 on the ground.
Anyway. Do you want to take us out, or do you want me to?
You go right ahead, man.
All right. I have you wrote as the guy doing the outro, but I know you're pretty beat, so.
Yeah.
All right, guys, for those of you that are listening locally, hopefully we'll see you at the track on Sunday. We're not going to be there for all the weekend's activities because we got other things going on that we have to attend to. But we are going to be there on Sunday. Hope to see you there for the heat races starting at 2 all the way through until the big Yard Gear 250 in the evening. If you want to keep updates on where we are, what we're doing, we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna try to be live a couple times at the track. It's gonna be Donnie and I don't think Corey's making the trip over this week, due to the same reason he's not on the podcast tonight.
Gonorrhea. No, sorry.
Diarrhea.
Diarrhea.
Oh, okay. Anyway, and make sure you keep tabs on all of our Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff for next week's episode to drop. Next week, we're going to have to pick our brackets, by the way, for who's going to be eliminated first and things like that. So we got a lot on the go. Look forward to seeing you guys and hearing from you soon. We'll see you next week.